Welcome back to the Alpha Girl Soccer podcast show. My guest today is the co-founder of EVLV Empire, motivational speaker, creative entrepreneur, and most importantly, my former teammate, Lauryn Huthinson, aka Hutch. Hutch, thanks so much for coming on, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so you have no idea how excited I am to have you on here because you've been like, first of all, your energy is like the most infectious energy of anyone that I've ever met, and you've been a huge inspiration to me, like personally and professionally. So I'm just stoked to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember, I know this is super random, but I remember one memory of you from college. We were going to go out for Halloween and you didn't want to go, but you were already dressed up.
Do you remember what I was dressed up as?
You were a grape, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, a green grape. Like that image for some reason sticks in my head. Every time I think of you, I'm like, yo, she did not want to go that night.
No, I didn't. And that was my birthday weekend.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Good time.
But yeah, so we were teammates at VCU in Virginia. So only got to hang out for a semester.
Wow, it felt like so much longer.
I know, but like we've kept in touch pretty good. So
yeah, totally.
So it's been good. Yeah. Okay. So I want to try something a little bit new today. I was on a podcast a few weeks ago. So shout out to the Character Combine. And I'm like, this is a good way to start it off. So I'm going to ask you a few super random warm-up questions. I
love it.
So first one is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, honestly, it might be a really weird answer, but anywhere close to my family.
There you go. No, that's not weird at all. Like all your family's in around Richmond, right?
Yeah. So my mom moved to Richmond. My dad's still in Northern Virginia. I've got family, South Carolina and Ohio, but like, honestly, my soul moves a lot. As long as I'm near my family, I don't care where I'm at.
And you're happy. Yeah. East Coast then. East Coast for you, right?
Maybe. Yeah. For now. Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah, I would live anywhere in the world with my family and friends.
Awesome.
For sure.
Cool. All right. Second question. If you could hang out with one celebrity for a day, who would it be? One celebrity. Take your time.
That's so hard. Ellen for sure.
Oh yeah. That's always like my top, like, but for me, like I would either pick Ellen or probably like Melissa McCarthy. Like she's freaking cool.
Nice.
You know, she's just like so cool. Or like Amy Poehler or something.
Who's that? Amy Poehler?
Amy Poehler and like Tina Fey, you know?
Okay.
Or like Baby Mama.
I'm so dead.
They're just so funny, you know? They're just like, I just want to like hang out with them. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ellen, there you go.
Ellen, man.
So shout out to Ellen. Ellen, if you're listening, yeah, I'm sure you're not, but anyways.
You never know.
Ellen, I love you, girl. Yeah. So if this is a hard question. Well, might not be for you, but it is for me. So if you could describe your life in a song, what song would it be?
Wow.
Gotcha.
What? In a song?
I hate song questions, so I had to ask you.
Man, that's so hard. I know so many songs. Yo, I don't know, but honestly, any song from college probably that we like would go dance to. Like
the song that reminds me most of college probably is Toot It and Boot It.
Yes, like one of those.
Yeah.
Any song from college, but that's hard.
One of those that you can just like dance to, you know?
Yeah. That's what's yours? Do you have one or no?
I actually got asked this question and it was like phrased a little bit differently, but there's a song called Wanna Be Cool by Donnie and the Trumpets. And it's kind of just like about like being real and not like having to be like cool, but like being cool just because you're you.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know what
I mean? Love it. Well, I'll definitely think about it. I'll probably I'll probably text it to you or something. But
when you figure it out
right now, that's hard. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, good. Thanks for answering those. So now that we know, well, I know more about you, but tell our listeners a little bit more about you and what you're all about.
Yo, this is so tough for me, and I've really tried to not limit myself. At the end of the day, because sometimes I'll go, oh, I'm a soccer coach, I'm a business owner, I'm this, I'm that. And at the end of the day, this is what it strips down to is I am an individual that loves to connect, that loves to help people not let their lives pass them by, period. Like that is me to a T.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Lauren, the soccer coach, Lauren, the dancer, Lauren, this, all those things can be taken away from us. At the end of the day, environment, helping people grow, not missing their lives. But to give the listeners a little bit more, background. So obviously Shay and I played at VCU together. And then while I was at VCU in grad school, I started my first business, which is Find Your Passion. And people have a very weird perception on that. And I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Absolutely.
And then my second business came 3-ish years ago, which is called Evolve, which is an all female training program. And on top of that, I do a lot of speaking gigs. I like to have a lot of fun. I like to dance a lot. So yeah, that's kind of like the more forward answer.
So basically you're just like the coolest person ever.
I'm trying to figure it out, man.
I'm serious though. Like, I'm like, man, like you're the kind of person that people are just like, man, like I either be her or I want to like, like be her best friend. It's like one of those two things.
I appreciate it. I don't know what it is, man. I wake up some days and I'm just like, how do I even like live with myself? Like I'm constantly like just wanting to do something new. My soul loves environment, fun environments.
Yeah. So like today, obviously you already mentioned like FYP, Find Your Passion. So like, we're going to get into that. So, but first, like you kind of mentioned it already, but I feel like the term find your passion can be like very vague and it can like stress a lot of people out. Cause it's like, what is a passion? Like, what's my passion? And people freak out when they can't find it. So like, what does that term, like find your passion mean to you?
Yeah. Gosh, here's the short version. I think as a society, especially what we've done to the youth is we've said, what's your passion is basically saying, what's one thing you want to do for the rest of your life? Yeah. And it's dangerous because in the youth, they feel like, oh my God, like I have to pick one thing. Like, I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know? That's like saying, what do you want to wear in 30 years? It's tough, right? So what I've done is I've taken that concept and I've kind of flipped it. And now when I say the term to people, finding your passion is what makes you tick. Passion is an emotion. It's a feeling. It's not a thing. Things can be taken away from you. Soccer is not your passion. Coaching is not your passion. It is an emotion. You are passionate about coaching. You are passionate about videography or painting. And I challenge people to recognize the feeling when they feel it. Because they might realize, oh, like I've got 3 or 4 things that I really feel passionate about and it can change. Mm-hmm. So that's my short answer. But like, I don't understand why we've boxed everybody. Like, what is your passion? You have got one thing. No. So.
Yeah. And two, it's like, if you don't find that one thing and like, say you think you find your passion, but then you're like, it's not for me. Then I feel like people are like, crap. Well, now what? You know what I mean? Like they only get one shot at it.
Yeah. And that's when these like quarter life crisis, midlife crises come in, you know, talking about my parents, both of my parents have come to me in this situation where they're now changing careers halfway through their life. And I'm like, listen, you're not, because the core for them is education and protecting people, period. Mm-hmm. They can do that through teaching. They can do that through personal protection. Cause my dad is now in the security business, but you've been doing that your whole life. Just as society, we put these titles on it. So now I'm helping people. I'm not a therapist. Let's just put that out there. I just try to get people to realize that number one, you can change your mind. And number two, it's okay if you go through these midlife, quarter life crises. And I don't blame you because we've boxed everybody to think like that. It's so bad. I hate it.
Like when you first started FYP, like why did you start it? Like how did it kind of, I don't even know if I know the story of like how it all started.
Yeah. So shout out to, I don't know if you remember her name's Haley McBee. She played field hockey. I
don't remember the name, but
yeah, she was there when we were there, but you know, everyone's passing so quick.
Yeah.
So I was on Facebook one day and she reposted this video. And it was this guy that was from Stafford, Virginia, which is only about an hour from here. His name's Daniel Rodriguez. And the video was just like I was like in tears, like crying. I was like, oh my God, he changed my life. Like, it was just such a cool story. He grew up in Stafford, Virginia, played football. His dad passed away. He was angry at the world, enlisted in the Army right out of high school, went there. Unfortunately, there was a big blow up. All of his friends passed away, and he was the only one that lived.
Wow.
He carried like all these bodies through open fire, during the war, won all these medals. And then, as a group, they said that when they got out, they were going to go play pro football somewhere, NFL, CFL. And like I said, he was the only one that, lived through that, did not come out with a scratch on him. Like, it was unbelievable. Wow. So he just trained relentlessly in Iraq. I believe it was Iraq. Yeah, the war was in Iraq, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he trained just on his own, just relentless, like throwing water and all these push-ups, and got out, did all this training and got picked up, and, went and played college, and then went and played, in the NFL. Unbelievable story, right? So I was moved. I was like, man, I want to do that for people. I want people to find their passion. I didn't really know what it meant at the time, but I felt something. Crazy story. I'm out, drinking one night with the team. I don't think you were here this year. And I'm standing in line. We're getting ready to go into, I can't remember the place. We used to always go, one of the bars that are on campus. And I look over my shoulder, and he's standing right in front of me. He's literally, Daniel Rodriguez is standing 10 feet from me. And I look at Bex, and I'm like, Bex, that's him. And she's like looking at him, and she's like, that's not him. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to scream his name, but like not look. And then you look to see if like
good idea.
He turns around. So I was like, Daniel. And he like turned around real quick, and he walked over to our group, and I'm like freaking out. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you say my name? And I was like, yo, bro, I can't believe you're standing in front. I told him the whole story, and he said, you watched that video? I was like, dude, I started a whole business off of you.
Wow.
And we became friends. Like, this guy plays for the Rams. Like, this guy
really? Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I'll send you his his bio and everything. But like that starting the business and then meeting him in person, like, that wasn't coincidence.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Like, how does that even happen? And, he was hanging out with Courtney Conrad that night. Like, we were just having a ball, he left his friends and like partied with us all night.
Wow. That's
like,
so
what
cool.
a person to be. So, the way that the business started was from a feeling that I felt from a video just on Facebook. And then meeting him was solidifying. Yeah. This is what I want to do. I want to make people realize their own zone of genius and their own talents in their day-to-day lives. I'll never forget that. Ever.
That's a pretty crazy story. That's so cool though, because it's like, yeah, like, it's not coincidence. Like, no, I believe in like fate, and like it was meant to be. You know what I mean?
Wild. Like, and now of course he's massive. I used to reach out to him time to time, and of course he's a busy guy. So I haven't probably talked to him in a few years, but he knows Absolutely. The story. So
absolutely.
So cool. Just crazy. So cool, man. Yeah. So that's how it started.
Cool. So like and I don't even know if this is the right like way to phrase it, but like,
go for it.
For someone that's, let's pretend that, because most of the listeners here are, let's say, like a high schooler, right? Like, how does someone go about like finding their passion? Or I don't know if the word finding is right, but maybe it is. But like, how does someone go about like finding that?
Yeah. So this is what I do through personal, business, or anything else. So I'm giving this out to people, and this is what my business coach has done with me, because it's very tough to find something that is intangible sometimes. Right. So like I'm glad I have my notebook here.
There you go.
But basically the middle of your entire life is why you do what you do. So I'll send this to you as well in a PDF. Yeah, why you do what you do. Anything, right?
Right.
You just write down buzzwords. Fun, energetic. This is just mine, of course. Connecting, environment, right? boom, you figure out why you live, like what
Gotcha.
makes you tick, things that no one can take away from you that are in the core. Then we draw the next circle, and then we write what you actually do. Okay.
I gotcha.
And then we list all the things that you do. So soccer, social media, these are just mine. Like I said, video, working out, eating lots of candy, like anything, like that's me.
Me too.
Write the what's, okay? And then write the how. And this is where people get stuck the most. Like I said, I'll send that to you, the how.
Mm-hmm.
Is how do you do those things? For me, it's through Evolve. Through me, you find your passion at my camps. Physically, how do we do it? So for some people, it's podcasts or running a company.
Mm-hmm.
But then what I take my clients through, and just my friends, is now we write your entire narrative. You know, I'm Lauryn Huthinson. I'm an energy giver that loves to create environment. I do that by creating camps through the community every summer. Like we come up with your 2 or 3 it's like an elevator pitch for your life. But guess what? The why will never change. The what and the how will.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's where people get stuck, like I said, because they zone in on the how and the what, and they're like, oh my God, like I have to change careers. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? The why will never change. Like what is, like, if I had to ask you, what is your core? Like who is Shay, and what do you live for every single day? Just
honestly,
buzzwords.
it's like connection, helping, fun, family, friends.
Boom. Like, and then what do? You clearly like coach soccer, and you do all those things. And like I said, then we would write your whole thing. Yeah. But then the why will never change.
Right. Absolutely.
So I think it's finding the whys of your entire life. And that's where you start. You don't start on the outside, because that's when most people, I'm just going to start a company. Boom. Well, why do you think most companies fail? Because there's no core. So that's what I take the kids through. That's what I take parents through. That's what I take my friends through, because a lot of people come in and like, dude, how do you do it? I'm like, I do so many things because I don't care what's on the outside. I don't care. I might sell Evolve for $5 million someday, and I will not care because my why doesn't change. I'm still going to connect. Like, I'm just using yours. I'm still going to connect, be family oriented and help people. So it's cool, but people get stuck there. Really tough. But that's how I would say finding it is the first part, the why.
And that's like, it's not necessarily easy to find that, but it's just very simple. Like, it's not like this equation. It's the 3 steps, like you said. Like if you're listening to this, go watch it on YouTube, because she has she drew it up on her piece of paper. But it's just very simple if you just take the time to do it and don't like overthink it. Like, start at the core.
Just buzzwords.
Yeah. And then your brain you start brainstorming things and think about who you are and what you value. And it just kind of goes from there, and do what incorporates those values.
Absolutely. And listen, 9 times out of 10, the why won't change, but sometimes it kind of will. Like, you might add things. Like, some people that might not want a family when they're in their teens or their early 20s might meet someone, and then they want a family, and then it becomes their why.
Right. Absolutely.
But most of it won't change. You know what I mean? Like that DNA in us. But yeah, that's why it's a feeling, and you'll feel it. And if it feels off, it's not for you. It shouldn't belong in your why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you do that on the daily. You do that through your podcast. You do that through coaching the girls, and writing your book. People can take all that stuff away from you, but it doesn't change who Shay is.
Right.
So
I love that. Because it's just like you said.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. It's just like no one can take away your why, which is so important. So I love that. That's awesome.
I live by it. And see, I can't tell you how many other business owners come to me and they're like, dude, you're crazy. You do way too much. You do this, and this. And I'm like, listen, I'm not doing enough. I wake up every single day living my why. I don't care what I'm doing. And I'm saying, that's where you're getting lost. And then they're like, oh. I'm like, this life is so much more than just owning a car dealership or doing this. I live my why every single day. Right. It took me some time. And then when it comes to the business perspective, now I teach people how to make money off of this.
Right.
Then, like I said, it doesn't matter because you're truly living what you are meant to do, and you can financially support yourself because money is important. It is.
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs it, you know?
Yeah.
But like, so you said like, you know, it took you some time to find, you know, your passion or your why or whatever it was. But like I feel like nowadays with social media, people see people on social media and it's like, wow, how did they get there so fast? Like, how come I'm struggling so much? So like, I want you to talk to like, how important is it to like realize that this is a process and you're probably going to fail a ton. And like, how do you find your why if you feel like you keep failing and failing and failing, you can't find it?
Yeah, it's failure. I recently did a post where it said, drop your, like your favorite quotes or whatever.
Oh yeah, I saw that
and
one.
One of my favorite ones was find failure. Like, I was like, oh man, that one got me good. Because you're going and looking for things that you eventually figure out that you don't need. And it gets you closer and closer and closer and closer to what you actually want. And for a long time, I could not communicate who I was because I'm so just out of the norm and the box. But now that I've learned how to communicate it, it's a lot easier. But if you are struggling with finding it, pen to paper, man. Pen to paper. Like, stop talking about it. Put pen to paper. Like I said, I will send you a PDF version of this so all of them can, anyone who wants to download it can use it.
Cool.
Pen to paper. And I would also say, go fishing for the people that are going to support that.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, sometimes our family members don't fit in it. And that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
You would be, I mean, I'm sure you know, you'd be blown away by how it just doesn't match.
Yeah.
But you got to find those people and you got to fail a lot to figure those things out. And then you got to figure out what to not care about.
Yeah.
People care about the stupidest stuff. Like sometimes I will sit with people, I'm like, are you listening to yourself? Who cares? Who cares? Like, come on. Where's the why? So pen to paper, I would say if you're struggling with failure, put pen to paper, go find the failure, maybe write those down and take steps closer and then make sure you go fishing for the people that will support that. Because then you won't second guess yourself.
Yeah, like for me, that's how I started doing this. Like I put pen to paper, I went out and tried a bunch of things that weren't for me. And then like I found this and I'm like, this is it. But when I first started, like when I quit all my other jobs, my family was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you should probably just get a stable job. And like, how are you going to support yourself? Like, what if it doesn't work out? So like originally my family like wasn't really on board, you know, and I was in a new city. Like I didn't know anybody, but eventually as I started like picking up steam, my family was like, all right, like you got this.
Like, can I join in?
Yeah. But like a lot of times that's going to happen with family, especially like for our parents and the older generations, like doing what we do is just too scary for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned, and that's communication is something in the last year that I've gotten a lot better with, is understanding the baby boomers and like Gen X, Gen Z, and the millennials, how to communicate to those people properly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the baby boomers that are, you know, a lot older than us, it's scary because they've never done it. Right? They've never been in a situation like that. And all you got to do is be able to explain and speak their language, already know the answers to their questions. Well, how are you going to support yourself? What about healthcare? What about this? What about, oh, hey, this is how this is going to work. This is how this is going to work. And they'll still might be a little skeptical, but at least you've answered their questions. And I know that's probably an answer for an older crowd, but for the younger ones, just communicating is really important. But what you've done is amazing. Like, thank you. So freaking awesome. And I know that we share like so much common ground when it comes to our why and why we do what we do. So, it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing.
It is. And it's like in my book, I talk about like, it is a daily thing, like daily habits. Like you're not going to be successful overnight. Like if you want to see results, you're probably not going to see results for 3 months, 6 months, like a year down the road. But it's like so many people give up before they see the results because it doesn't like happen overnight, right? But it's just like the little things you do every day is what compounds over time. And it's like you could quit, but then that next day, you never know. It could like be your big breakthrough. So just
and
like
I can't wait to get that book. Like you announced it, I was like, let's go. Yes. So tell me more about it. Tell me just a little bit more. Like what inspired you to write the book and put your why down on paper?
Honestly, it was just my experience with struggling with confidence throughout mainly my club career, but also my college career. Like I wanted to help girls with that because there's not many resources out there for girls to improve their confidence. So honestly, it was like, I want to give girls the tools and the resources that they need to become more confident and improve their mindset, because it's just not available. And I didn't want girls to have to go through what I went through. I almost quit because of it. So that's like my why, is just so I can reach more girls and help them with their confidence, because I'm sure you can speak to this too, but like almost every girl struggles with confidence at one point or another, whether it's on the field or whether it's, with their social life or academics.
And for anyone that's listening, even if you are not a young girl, you're a grown man, grown woman, buy this book. I haven't even read it yet, but go buy it, because then you will be able to help those girls that don't read the book how to build confidence. Dude, I had a girl come in last night to Evolve, right? And she's like, I'm really struggling with 1v1s. I'm like, I'm so glad that you brought this up. I was like, I cannot stand the trainers that are screaming at these girls to take her 1v1, but you've never even taught her.
Right.
Right. You've never given her the confidence. I said, that's like me screaming at a newborn baby, run, run.
Yeah.
It's not they're going to try, but you're going to fail. So I broke down from her. I said, we're going to start with mindset. From mindset, then we're going to go into, okay, who are you playing against? Are you playing futsal? Are you playing soccer? How's your body feel? Okay. Are you feeling like going 1v1 today? Or is it going to be we went through the whole thing in order. We didn't get to the moves until last.
Absolutely.
She was flying. She was flying by the end of the session because I taught her the mentality. So anybody that also wants to help young girls, go buy this book, because at the end of the day, we have to teach them.
Yeah.
And it's our job as a society to fight for people, especially the ones that are struggling. So if it's young girls that are struggling with confidence, it's our fault as a society. Then I put the blame on us because we're not teaching them the right things. And that is exactly what you're doing with your book. So I love it. So go buy the book. I can't wait.
Thank you for promoting my book on the podcast. It's supposed to be all about you, girl.
Nah, man, it's about us. It's about us. Like I said, I haven't read it yet, but just by the title, She the Confident, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. I already know what's in that book. Like, I cannot wait to place my order and give it to people that need it to help the girls.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it, girl. Man, I feel like we just unpacked so much there. So what would you like? All right, let's go back to when were you your most, I guess, like lost, like as a teenager, where you're like, what do I want to do? Like, when were you at your most like vulnerable?
For like my career, or
I guess just like your life.
Okay, 1 second. Let me get getting hot.
It's getting hot in here.
Man, you guys, my teenage years were my worst years. I went through a lot. My parents went through a nasty, nasty divorce. I basically raised myself from the age of 13, 14 to about 19. I got kicked out of my house multiple times, for coming out. My GPA was terrible. I was terrible in school. Like, Tiff was the one that actually gave me the confidence. And I know, different coaches suit different players, but she definitely just saw something in me that helped me get out of the situation that I was in. But I would say my teenage years were my most lost, but I didn't even know I was lost. That's all I knew. and I felt very alone, and I felt very confused. And that's why when Tiff kind of like came to my rescue,
yeah,
I found myself in college, and then the video came with Daniel, and then I proceeded to take on the career that I wanted and live the life that I wanted. But man, I went through some ridiculous things when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But the person that I am today is completely different, completely different. So I don't know if that answer, if that's too vague or not.
No, that's so like a follow-up question to that is I'm sure there's a lot of girls out there struggling with whether it's the same things that you struggle with as a teenager or something totally different. But like, what would you like tell yourself if you could give yourself advice to like get through that hard time more easily, I guess? Like, what would you tell yourself back then?
I think I'd tell myself a million things, but I would say everybody's got to run their own race. I feel a lot of people kind of like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, or watch out for this. But at the end of the day, until you actually run your race and find those failures, like, we won't truly grow. And to just live through the process and understand that the result is just a result. And sometimes the process is actually better than the result. So for the really, really, really young ones, like that might listen to this with their parents, I would say surround yourself once again with the people that are truly seeing the best in you and actually bring out things in you that you never even saw. And then, man, identity was another big one, but that's another one. But yeah, I would say those. It's tough, man, especially those teenage years. So hard.
Like that transitions perfectly into kind of what I wanted to ask you next is like, especially with teenagers, it's like, it's hard because I feel like on one end it is kind of like an identity crisis. Like, are you supposed to be authentic in who you are? Or are you supposed to live up to other people's expectations? Right. So like, why is being authentic? And I consider you one of the most authentic people I know. Like, why is that so important to like really hone in as like a teenager?
Well, influence is serious, especially with social media these days.
Totally.
One of my good friends, Alan Africa, he went to school with us. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He's down in Miami now, and he actually just put out a video either yesterday or the day before about authenticity. It's one of his pillars. And I love the video because, you know, let's say you're in a situation where you're like, oh, can't wait to go to this thing, whatever that thing might be. And then one of your friends is like, oh, like, I'm not going to that thing's whack.
Right.
And then you're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that thing's whack, you know, like, but technically you're not being authentic. If you want to attend something or go do something and you naturally feel like inclined to go do it, but then you let someone else sway your emotion, it gets real dangerous. And then you become very confused about your own emotions. So shout out to him because I love that video, and I'll share the link with you too. But being authentic, some people aren't even taught how. I'm all about teaching. Some people aren't being taught how to be authentic. Hey, like, I do want to go to that thing. If you don't want to go to that thing, I mean, that's cool, but I like really want to go. Yeah. I don't know why I want to go, but I want to go. And being unapologetic about being who you are with your why is so important. I'll preach that till I die.
Yeah.
But people get scared. And he also posted that quote on that quote day. I love that. I need to do that again. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
He's like, people will love you and hate you for the same reason. So why would you change what you want? Yeah. That blew my mind too. I was like, wow, that's another one for the good ones, for the young ones.
Yeah.
People will love and hate you for the same reason.
Yeah, like I feel like for me growing up, like just the example you used about going to an event and then your friend says something like, yeah, like for me, I feel like I was and still kind of am like such a people pleaser that it's like, and I hate confrontation. Like I still do to this day, but I feel like so many people, it's like they'll just agree with people just to avoid any sort of like disagreement or argument or confrontation. Yeah. So like how this is, I guess it's related, but like confrontation is a big thing. And how can someone deal, like what would you say are ways to deal with confrontation in a way that keeps you authentic to who you are, but also is like respectful to that person?
Over the course of my life, I've met a lot of amazing people like yourself. So I'm constantly quoting people. So I met the head coach at University of Florida probably like 8 months ago, Becky Burley.
Yeah.
And she said, I was interviewing her for something completely different. Once again, like she said something that really resonated with me. Don't get furious, get curious. So someone says something to you, right? And you're like, you don't resonate with it.
Yeah.
You almost have to inquire more about it. Right. So let's say, let's make it real for the younger girls that might listen to this.
Yeah.
And the families. Let's say you're playing for a club team and one girl's like, I hate this club, blah, 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 blah. And it might make you feel like, I really love this club. Like,
right.
Like why, you're like, but then you might lash back, right? Like, what do you mean? You'll get angry and furious, but in actuality, if you just get more curious and you kind of ask more questions, and I teach this to our parents too, don't get furious with your kids. I'm not a parent, but get curious. Like there's a reason why they're saying that. And they're really crying for attention in a different area. So like, maybe you're like, well, why do you hate the club? Well, our coach, she didn't play me this weekend, like blah, blah, blah. Like when you start to ask more questions, you start to gain more knowledge and then you can actually help that person and you can help yourself. I would say get curious, not furious. And that will kind of help you navigate, the situations like that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's actually really important for parents too, because what I've been learning a lot recently is girls struggle with confidence and their parents are a big part of that. Right. And I have given my girls the assignment to go talk to your parents and let them know like why or how they're hurting your confidence. And some of them came back and they're like, well, it just kind of turned into an argument, right? So this is huge for parents because instead of like just getting combative and not seeing it from their point of view, it's just like ask questions and listen and see like where they're coming from.
And it takes practice. It's a skill. I've definitely had to work on it. People coming at me hard. And I'm like, okay, I got to go slow. And I just ask questions, not cynical questions.
Right.
Meaningful questions, right? Because then people will be like, oh, well, they'll start to say it in that manner with, being like almost sarcastic. No, ask legit questions. Well, why do you feel that way? What happened? How can I help? And you'll start to see that and this just goes for arguing in general, right? Like you'll start to see the person's entire central nervous system just change because they start to calm down and they're like, well, this is what happened. And then you can kind of control the situation. But so many parents like start to use that, man. But who knows? I'll have kids and I'll start screaming at them.
Yeah, really.
I'm like, damn, I got to eat words.
So
I know, right?
I just, when you were talking about that, I don't know what sparked it, but I just thought of like, have you ever had a time since, you started your business or even in college where like you on social media or something where someone like, what's the word? Like,
is a troll?
Or was like troll. Yeah. Troll was like trolling what you do or who you are. Cause I feel like now with social media, that's something that's very common. Right. And people are so scared to put stuff out there because they're afraid of what people think in these trolls. So have you ever personally dealt with that?
Every week.
Perfect.
Every week. And honestly, it's great practice. I actually had someone, we had a futsal practice, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And we posted, I've hired a few people to run the social. I can't run the social anymore because I'm on it, but like when it's live, like with practice, I'm like out here, like trying to coach and blow the whistle and social. It's too much. But, so and I told them, I said, I want you to authentically put training up. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make it look fancy. Like be creative, get out there, show the world our program. And someone went in the DM and was like, yo, these girls aren't even doing this drill right, blah, 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 blah. I said, so I came back at them and I said, okay, so what are they doing wrong? Well, I don't even need to be there, to know, like, I just know they're doing it wrong. Couldn't answer my question. Right.
There you go.
I'm like, listen, I understand that they might not be doing it real pretty. you know, they're like, well, you know, I hope the coaches are correcting it. And I'm like, of course they are. Of course we are. But it's very important for as a program that we put our program out there in the most authentic space, and that we're not just out here putting upper 90 goals. And we just recently put up 2 because it was just for fun, but that's not our focus. And immediately they switched. They were like, you know, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I think it immediately switched, right? Yeah. When you come in with facts and you don't have to justify what you're doing, but you tell them, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it, which I guess it is similar to justifying. But you'll be surprised how trolls will then become, I call it winning them over.
Yeah.
How many trolls you will actually win over in the long run. But all the time, all the freaking time. Like, and I used to lash back.
Yeah, that's hard because sometimes too, I just like get mad and I just want to like type away. But like, do you always respond to them, or is there sometimes when you're like, they're not even worth my time? Like, do you just ignore them?
When it becomes disrespectful is when I delete them. Yeah. When if someone posts on the page a very derogatory,
absolutely,
or like way past the line, it gets deleted. I don't even entertain it. If it's something that it's kind of like, like, oh, these girls aren't even doing it right, or like, oh, this is stupid, then I'll kind of respond and get curious on why they think it's stupid, or, you know, why they think what they think. But anytime it's 10 feet past the line, it gets deleted. I just don't even let it roll off my back.
Done. Yeah. By the way, like, I love what you like the training sessions that you guys are posting on Instagram.
You like them?
They're just like, cause I like know you and Bree, and I know how like fun you guys are. Yeah. I'm just like, man, like this is seriously like the coolest program. So side note, go follow, we'll get to this later, but go follow Evolve on Instagram. Like, it's just so real, and the stuff you guys do, I love it. I like, like you guys are like top of my feed.
Well, thank
all
you.
The time.
It's funny because I said, you know, don't to the 2 girls that are doing social media for us. I was like, listen, don't cut anything out.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the futsal season, everybody's happy. About midway through, I got to check a girl, and it's going on. And I've told the parents that, listen, if we're in a practice situation, like you've already signed a, you know, agreement, social media wise, like we have girls that can and can't be on social.
Right.
I'm going to check. I already know I'm going to check a U15 and a high school girl. I already know it. It happens every year. And it's going to go on the feed because it's a learning opportunity, and it teaches them immediately. Like, if you keep acting like this in life, someone else will record you doing it. And now you're in a worse situation.
Absolutely.
So that's a standard that we've already set with our parents. So get ready. Like January, like 10th.
That's when the good stuff's coming out.
Yeah, that's when it's going to come. And everyone's happy right now. Woo, holiday party. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait till you miss a line in training, or you are disrespectful. It will happen, especially now that we've increased 96% in our winter league, in our winter program. It's ridiculous.
I'm like, wow, I'm blown away by what you guys are doing.
Oh my gosh. Shay. It's coming. But we're very, very, very authentic. Get ready.
Yeah. So just be authentic, everybody. Like, it's going to serve you well, like in the long run.
Yeah.
All right, Hutch. So last question.
Yeah.
As we bring this podcast to a close, like, what are you most excited about with this new year coming up in 2020?
So many.
It could be a few things.
I'll go with a few things. I'll go with like my, like direct ones, where I'm very excited for futsal, Evolve Futsal Regionals and Nationals. That's like a direct one. And then my next one would be all of the big speaking engagements that I'm, you know, taking on in 2020. I'm moving in with Evolve more on the brand side. So I will be coaching, but I'll be doing a lot more business stuff, a lot more brand stuff, a lot more speaking at conferences and events. But then also coming back home to coach that. And then I would honestly say just anything awesome, any new people that I meet that are living now, but that I will meet. Yeah. I'm excited for like those moments, you know, they always happen.
Absolutely.
I would say that. What about you?
Oh gosh. I'm really excited about this book and like, and what it will do for so many girls, not just like soccer players and even boys. Like, it'll help boys. It's the same exact concepts, right? But I would say off the top of my head, that's what I'm most excited about. and just like growing a new program that I'm coming out with is just working with girls with their mindset and their confidence. So
I love it.
That side of things.
I can't wait. I love watching your stuff, man. I'm like, let's go.
Well, thank you.
We have to. We got to do it. Actually, you don't have to, but it's a smart choice to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have to.
So where can people find you and Evolve and like give us all your handles and all that?
So the main handle is my personal one, Hutch FYP, HUTCH FYP. That's on Instagram. And then the Evolve account is EVLV Empire.
There we go.
EVLV Empire. Check us out. On there, you can find like everything else, like Twitter and website and all those types of things. Those are the main ones we work off of.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go follow her. I'll post all your social media and all that on under the show notes. But make sure you do that as soon as you're done listening to this. Go do it because you're going to be blown away by how cool like Hutch is and Evolve Empire. It's pretty cool stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you want to see us interact, which you probably want to see us interact, go watch it on YouTube. And I'll catch you on next week's episode.